University is more than a degree. I finished my degree more than a month ago, and now I'm going to be graduating in less than a month. 3 years has just gone like that, and I've wanted to make this video for the longest time, just to reminisce about the old times. But that's why I've been putting it off. I just haven't been able to accept the fact that I finished my 3-year degree. But now time has passed, I'm ready to film. Completing my degree is finally settled in my brain as a reality, and for me to move on the right way, I just wanted to paint the best picture of my journey for myself to look back on, seeing where it started and seeing where it led me to the person I am today. And without further ado, this has been my university experience. Ever since I was younger, I've always wanted to go to Bath University. I was told it was really hard to get into, and I saw that as a challenge. So all of my educational decisions were set out from there to make sure I get the best chances possible to get into this university. Also, from an early age, I just knew sport was for me. I knew it was going to be my pathway in the future. It's just who I am and what I do. So in secondary school, I took BTEC Sport and the sciences behind that. I then went to a sport college to get my extended diploma in sport and exercise science. And within that time, I went to the Bath University weekend school to try out their newly added degree, sports performance. So I decided to apply for both sports performance and sports science to see if I can get into either of them. And little did we know we got into both. My dream was unfolding. Coming to uni, I definitely was, as they say, a silly fresher. Just getting over an ex-relationship and coming back from a life-changing work placement in Canada left me in an interesting place in life. I came to uni unexpected of the experience I was about to have, but I was here for it. I've always challenged the unknown, even though it can be scary. But I feel those are the steps you have to take to figure out who you are, and that's what I really wanted to find out. If I could sum up first year in one word, it would be tired. The new schedule, the workload, the increase in training, I could barely keep up with everything. Not to mention the interesting lifestyle choices that I prioritize as well in this point of time. But it's first year, you're experiencing this all for the first time, so it's not going to be perfect, but you've also got to make the most of it. Going from acing my secondary school and college grades to barely passing first year, going from feeling amazing after trading to feeling tired and chronically fatigued, all of this was a massive indication for things to change. So going into second semester of first year, I really prioritized my mental and physical health. I started to see changes in every aspect of my life. I was getting stronger, getting faster, and being more efficient in my academics as well. And with that, I had my first university indoor competition, and it was the first successful thing that I had achieved in my 4 months at uni. That competition changed the view on myself, and I unlocked a vision of my potential, of who I could become and what I could achieve. My overall grades were also getting better. Mind you, not by much, but enough to show a difference in my attitude and approach to the whole uni experience. And with that wake-up call, I was finally putting in enough effort, which then led to an amazing time in my outdoor university competition, where I ran my third fastest 100-meter time as a season opener, and we finished the year having better grades, having my last sprint session, and already saying goodbyes. It's crazy because all the people around me in my sprint group had taught me the ways of uni and the experience I was going to have, and they're already leaving me. But with that in mind, I knew I had to play a bigger role next year. I've now learned what uni has in store for me, and it was time to put in the work. A defining moment for second year was probably just before second year started, where I injured myself over the summer. I decided to come to uni early, give myself a head start on my new routine and fitness. We were continuously getting stronger and better every day, and that is where I decided to create my social medias. I finally found a purpose, and that was to document my journey and sharing my story to show to everyone what I'm going to achieve isn't impossible. But as much as it was made to help other people, it really helped me. Again, in my childhood, I loved creating videos. I found it fun, and I still am passionate about this to this day. And I was thankful to see this passion through athletics. So going forward into second year, I was in a really good spot. I really grinded out the athletics and academics, and I was starting to get the hang of it all, whilst also finding time to make videos and extracurricular activities. Jumping forward into time, I was truly set on competing at my second indoor bucks. I honestly just felt different. However, it was unlucky. Over that weekend, I got ill. I couldn't compete as hard as I wanted to, but I still gave everything on that track. But this whole weekend left me hope for the outdoor season. And in preparation for the outdoor season, we decided for the first time ever to do warm weather training in Portugal. That was the highlight of my year. I truly needed that escape from university just to focus on what I love the most, training and warm weather. And being able to experience it with these people around me that year was just amazing. Coming back from warm weather training, I then had a competition to which I PB'd in, and I was just so happy to see these results coming through now. And then we also get to outdoor bucks, and that itself was just an amazing experience. Sharing a house with your teammates is honestly the best decision that we made. As much as bucks and athletics is all about competing for yourself, the unity we had as a club at that point was just something that I really felt was connecting. The whole team spirit really made me push myself to make sure that I did the best I could. That being said, we came away with a few PBs here and there, but if I have to choose one experience in university day that I loved the most, it was that weekend. However, with this focus on outdoor bucks and the warm weather training beforehand, my academics were at an all-time low. I surprised myself in most of my exams, but it was the one exam that I thought I did well in. We had to retake it. That is the first thing that I've ever technically failed in my academic life, but I feel like I needed that. Again, another wake-up call to tell myself what I really need to be focusing on. Over summer, people were competing, having fun, doing all this and that. I was at home hitting the books. I put my passion in training aside just to focus on this one exam that I hated, but I still put in the work, and thankfully it paid off. We passed in the end, which then led to my last competition of the year, which I PB'd in as well, having not trained in a month and a half at that point in time. And that's when I realized, if I know that I can do it up here, I'm capable of everything. At this point, it's definitely taken me 20 years to kind of realize this and see it in action. But again, everything happens for a reason, and I'm happy that I went through that. I not only just passed second year with way better grades than first year, I came away with lifelong lessons, and I've started to really discover who I am. And so we finally make it to third year. Wow, I did not think I would get this far. With everything that I've learned in first and second year, I was so ready to make sure that I started third year the right way. I then get hit by tonsillitis, but that did not stop me. I put in the work, and we were getting the best grades I've ever got in university. It was all paying off academically. After getting past that, I could then focus on just my indoor competitions, and I did amazingly. I PB'd twice in my indoor comps. Again, this gave me great hope for the outdoor season. I will say though, third year is definitely a different vibe to the rest of them. I pretty much trained, went back home, ate, and did my work, and it was very difficult to make those sacrifices, but I was still thankful to have the experience going to warm weather training again. It was just as great as the last, but in the back of my mind I knew I had to do my dissertation, so I feel like I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have, as I had different priorities over this time. And so we handed my dissertation, and what a relief. The hard bit of my experience was over, and so we finished my assignment, competed at my last ever bucks, and we had our last exam. Finishing that last exam was very weird. For months on end, I've been thinking about the next piece of work I've had to work on. Days after, I still thought to myself, what have I got to revise for today, even though that doesn't exist. It's done. You know, those ways of life are no longer. But it's now like I have the right willingness to do whatever I want and not feel guilty about it in the back of my head. It now means I can be fully passionate about my sport, videography and photography, and having fun. Being in education for 16 years, the structure is kind of already set out for you. This is the first time in life I don't have that, which is scary, but also very exciting. It really is. It is very scary and hard to know what you want to do in life, but thankfully I've got my passions around me to focus on. I'm going to continue to train hard in athletics, get faster, alongside documenting my journey and making videos. I've also decided to put myself down for some part-time learning in sports massage therapy, and who knows, maybe I'll get a job. I really don't know what is in store for me outside of university, but it's my time to move on. Since being 12, I've always wanted to come to university at Bath, and now I've completed it. Technically, I've completed my dream. Fuck. I've done it. Here we are at the end of it. It's crazy to think to me that this journey has finished. I think all the goals that I've wanted to achieve, I have done so in my university lifetime, and I wouldn't change anything. Even though I've had really hard times, some lows, but so many highs as well, it has really shaped the person I am today, and I can officially say that I think I have found myself. I am so thankful to have a calling in what I'm doing now, and feeling passionate about the things that I'm doing and not thinking they're stupid. For me, that means everything, and I honestly couldn't have done it without the people around me. I'm so happy with the connections I've made over the course of the 3 years. If I didn't have these, I don't know where I'd be. Without athletics and the opportunities it gave me, I don't know who I would be now either. It truly is bittersweet because I'm ready to move on and find myself in the so-called real world, but I'm truly gonna miss the times that I've had and the times that I could have here, being surrounded by the people that I want to be around. Without this experience, I don't know who or where I would be. University really is not about the degree for me. It was about finding who I am, and even that is something that I think I've achieved as well. It's really hard to end this video. For me, that'll be the end of everything. Obviously, I have graduation soon, but this is it. If I had to leave you with anything, I would honestly have to say something very cliche and say life is short. I feel like every day you have to get into that mindset about making the most of it and enjoying it for what it is, because tomorrow might be different and all good things come to an end eventually. And so you have to make the most of it whilst you're there. Being in my last year, I really did. Knowing eventually with all my training sessions and the times that I was having with the people around me would finally be my last. But I had to make the most of it for what it was in the present and leave the future to decide what happens. And with that being said, thank you all for watching the video, and if you have enjoyed, then please do hit the like button and subscribe to continue to watch my journey as an athlete, as a person, and as a content creator. So I'll see you all in the next video. I don't want to do it. Good. Bye. Damn. I gotta get a job. Okay.